Hello and welcome to another video by Econo Insight. This video we're going to discuss the concept of present value discounting, and this may be one of the most useful concepts in your economic life. So the basic idea is you can get it from the terminology itself, is that present value discounting is essentially finding out what the value of money in the future is equivalent the value of it's in the value of the money of that amount of money in the present. So essentially finding the present value of that future amount of money. So that's the essence, that's what it means. So to do this, we have a formula. I'm going to explain to you how the formula works, and later a bit on how we derive the formula. So the formula here equals PV, which is present value. I'm going to write here present value is equal to FV, which is the future value, multiplied by 1 over 1 bracket 1 plus R bracket to the power of N. R here is the rate of return. I'm going to tell you what these mean in context, and N is the number of periods. So let's play with this formula and see how it works. So I have an easy example for you. So let's say the question is, what is the present value of $100 received next year, and let's say the annual interest rate is 10%. Let's just give it 10%. So in this case, I'm going to break it down first. We're trying to find out what $100 that we will receive next year. What is it equivalent today? In order to find this, what the formula is doing is that, hey, it's telling us that we should consider that money today could be invested, right? So if you have money today, if you invest that money, you can get return of that money. That is why money in the future, that's why the old saying, it says that money today is better than money tomorrow. Why? Because you could invest the amount of money today, right? And you can get more return tomorrow. So that's the basic idea of it. So let's see. We have $100 that we will receive next year. The annual interest rate is at 10%. Let us plug this into the formula. So we're trying to find out the present value. We have our future value, which is $100, multiplied by 1 over 1 plus the rate of return, which is 10%. We write it as 0.1 in decimal form, to the power of n. N is the number of periods. And I said next year. So there's only one period. There's just 1 year. So n equals 1. So we plug that all in a calculator, and it will yield approximately $90.91. What $90.91 means is that, intuitively, is that if we have $90.91 approximately today, we invest it with an annual interest rate of 10%, next year, then we will get $100. And that is the intuitive sense of why $100 received next year is actually equivalent to $90.91, approximately $90.91 received today. So that is the intuitive sense. And here is some bit of terminology. The process here of dividing 100, because 100 multiplied by 1 is 100, so this is actually 100 over 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 1. The process of doing this, the process of dividing dividing 100, which is the future value, by 1 plus the interest rate, by 1 plus the interest rate, 1 plus 0.1, is a process called discounting. So that is just some terminology for your belt here. That is called discounting. So that is an easy example. Now let's try to make it more complex. So the question is, what is the present value of $100 received in 3 years? And let's say, for complexity, so you understand the concept, is that the annual interest rate for, let's say, for the first year, year 1, and year 2 is at 10%. And let's spice things up a little, and we say that the annual interest rate for year 3 is at, let's say, 8%. So first, we must notice here that we have three different interest rates, right? We have two different interest rates. We have 10% for the first year, 10% for the second year, 8% for the next year. Our future value here is $100, and our number of periods, which is n, is 3 years, right? Because our annual, remember, annual is yearly, right? We are compounding it yearly, annually, and we're compounding it with 3 years. So 3 is n in here is equals 3. So now, let's see how that works in the formula. But note here, right? Note here that we cannot simply use the formula that we have here, 1 plus r, because we have different interest rates. So let's break it down. So you get the logic of it. Now, we have our future value, which is 100. Again, this is not in the formula, but let's break it down together. We're trying to find the present value of $100 received in 3 years. So this is, let's say our present value is D. We're trying to find D. In our first year, we have 10% of interest rate. So multiplied by 1.1. Second year, also 1.1, right? And the third year, interest rate decreased and annual interest rate becomes 8%, so 1.8. So intuitively, if we multiply D by 1.10 times 1.10 times 1.08, we get $100. So by math, to get D, simply 100, move it to the right-hand side, which is divide, 1.1 times 1.1 multiplied by 1.08, and that will give us approximately $76.52. So what $76.52 means here in that case is that if you have $76.52 today, and you invest it for 3 years with this interest rate, 10% for the first year, second year also 10% of interest rate, and third year is 8% of interest rate, then you will end up with $100 in the third year. So that is what $76.52 means in this case. Now let's have something interesting. You can skip this part if you want to, but we can notice something interesting here. The effect of compounding. We can see that $76.52 grows by, if you use the percentage change formula, by 30.68% to equal $100. So it grows by this much. However, if some people might fall into the trap, someone asks, so what is the total growth in the investment? They will simply sum 10% in the first year, 10% in the first year, plus 8% in the third year, and we got 28% in growth of that money, which is wrong. Because what we're missing, and in reality, we can see it grows by 30.68. If you sum it up, it's only 28%. This is because the effect of compounding. What do I mean by compounding? Is because the interest you gain for the first year, you don't take it out. You still put it in that account, and because of that, you are earning interest on interest. See that? You're earning interest on interest. Think about it. Because the interest is not paid out yearly. The interest, you put it there, you reinvest it there, right? You don't take it out. So you are essentially earning interest on interest, and that is compounding. The power of compound interest. That's why you have more here, right? 30.68 rather than only having 28% growth of the investment.